This is PointsBet All Access.
Welcome back. And on her way to becoming a world champion and an Olympic bronze medalist, Jenny Simpson would train in and around Boulder, sometimes running in the community of Marshall. As she'd run on Cherryvale Road, she often passed an old schoolhouse that would eventually become her home. In late December, her dream house and her life was in peril when the Marshall fire ignited.
Opened the front door and the whole front yard was on fire, and it had already jumped Cherryvale and was headed up the hill. I mean, in that moment, you're just thinking, I have to save my life, my husband's life, my dog's life.
For Jenny Simpson and her husband Jason, December 30th is a day they'll never forget.
The majority of our kind of trauma and fear is from the way that we had to leave. Like, we didn't evacuate, we escaped the fire.
While they did escape the Marshall fire, the fear of possibly losing their home was front and center as they watched from afar with some friends.
We sat in the parking lot of the ranger station on Cherryvale, and I'll never forget, we just watched the fire come closer and closer. And I remember after sitting there probably 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
I remember saying, I can't just sit here and watch our home burn. And so we left.
More than 1,000 homes were destroyed in the fire, including nearly 30 in the old Marshall area. The Simpsons' home was not one of them.
We do have an amazing amount of empathy, or very strong feelings of empathy, and wanting to do whatever we can to help our neighbors who've lost varying amounts of things, but everyone's kind of going through the same event, no matter what their circumstances are. And so it's really brought the community together, and we want to be a big part of that.
Jenny and Jason bought their home in Marshall in 2019. It's a renovated old schoolhouse that's been part of the community for over 120 years.
We have some really interesting stories of people coming over that are still living in the area that knock on the door and want to see where they went to school.
So saving the house for themselves and the Marshall community was paramount. In the 7 minutes between first smelling the smoke and having to evacuate, Jenny, the 2016 Olympic bronze medalist, jumped into action, spraying water on anything that might burn.
I live at such an intense level, and I'm available to go to that intense place so easily that I do think that, you know, I am really proud that I immediately sprung into action to try to save what we have.
Maybe I'm the calming influence, and that wasn't what was needed in those few minutes. So I did a great job of doing what I was told. She had a plan, and I got out there and I did what I could, but yeah, she grabbed the few things that were able to, the passports and the wallets and the computers, and I just grabbed the keys and drove.
This is 2017, my silver medal.
However, it wasn't her intensity that kept some of her career keepsakes, like the Olympic bronze medal, out of harm's way.
I had prepared for an interview several weeks earlier, and out of laziness, I had put all of it in a bag and had failed to unpack it and put it back in its safe place, right? So all of my medals and my shoes from the World Championships and some of the scrapbook of newspaper articles were all like beautifully packed in one tote bag that I was able to grab on my way when I was putting stuff at the front door, thinking we might have to leave in a hurry.
As Jenny and Jason prepare to move back, they're making sure the old schoolhouse serves a much bigger purpose than just being their home. They've already hosted 2 community meetings for their friends and neighbors, helping to facilitate the healing their community so desperately needs.
It's a joy to imagine that this school will now be meeting its purpose again. The school remains as a piece of their history, and so it belongs as much to them as it does to us. We really strongly feel that way. And so any way this can serve as a symbol of what is preserved through so much loss, we're happy to share it.
As for Jenny's running career, she told me a few years ago that she was going to exhaust every ounce of talent she has. And while her running has been on pause for a while, Jenny has some big plans to compete in the future. We'll keep you posted.